And welcome back to another great episode of the Winning City Rundown. That is Jose Contreras. I am Eric Alida, guys, and as always, on your Facebook page, like and share your shows for all your friends and family. If you're watching on our YouTube, like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, trying to help us. We got to make a goal, Jose. We got to make a goal by the end of the summer. I said let's try to get to 500 subscribers by the summer for on our YouTube page. I think that's something we could do for sure, guys. So help us out on that aspect too as well. So like and subscribe on our Facebook page, and also follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all those or X, sorry, and all those fancy smancy social media aspects. Jose, man, what's up, man? How are you today?
I'm good, bro. How are you doing, man? I'm doing really, really good. Go Cubs, go! They're playing right
Man, you know
now.
what? Down 1-0, but it is what it is. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, they're down 1-0. I just got the update right now, not so long ago, right before the show started. So it is what it is. It's still bottom of the second inning, I think it was third inning that I got the update. So
Nah,
we still
they
got
should be
ways to go for that
further,
game
no?
to finish. So I think so. Something like that. I don't know. I really can't see. But yeah, we had a great show for you guys. The Bulls, we finally know what positions the Bulls are going to be picked in the draft lottery in this upcoming month or upcoming next month. So we're excited for that. How confident are you guys with that? Do you like the position? I know this is a very deep draft class for the Chicago Bulls. They can't mess this up, or can they? Who knows? We'll see. The NFL schedule releases are coming out tomorrow. We're probably going to give you guys the question: how many primetime games do the Bears you think the Bears will have this upcoming season? And obviously, we're giving you guys our top five this week. The top five this week is wide receiver core from the AFC, NFC, and also we're breaking down the NFC North well as the wide receiver core. We'll get that to later on our show. But Jose, the big talking point this week about in Chicago sports is the fact that the Bulls are picking number 4 and 15th in this year's upcoming draft. Obviously, this draft class is stacked. They're in a very good position, but there's a lot of chatter about the Chicago Bulls, whether if they're going to trade up, trade down, trade the 4th overall pick for somebody else, the 19-year-old center from the Wizards, I believe it is. But if you're the Chicago Bulls, Jose, do you stay, do you trade up, or do you trade down? What do you do with the Chicago Bulls and how to build this or make this team somewhat better a little bit quicker than usual?
Oh, you gotta stay 100%, man. You gotta stay 100%. Stay at number 4. Get yourself a game-changing superstar. Enough of trying to build around whoever. No, you don't. You have nobody to build around off of this. If you're
Facts.
if you're Thomas going into this to this draft, you have to go into with the best player available. A lot of people are saying Caleb Williams, not Caleb, sorry, Caleb Wilson. Is it Caleb Wilson? Caleb Wilson,
Oh, Caleb.
right, will be there at number 4. Um, so yeah, man, that's what I'm going for. You know what I mean? He looks like somebody out of UNC, just like Michael Jordan. You know, he looks like somebody who could be a game changer for the Chicago Bulls. They're comparing him to someone like Kevin Garnett. I'll take him, man. From what I'm seeing, he's been giving a lot of big flashes out here and during the draft combine. So if we can get someone like him, I'm happy. I think that's a good start. That's why I think the Bulls should go for.
No, 100%. And you know what? That's not a bad pick either. I know he's one of those players too as well. The other one that they're also talking about for the Bulls is Cam Boozer. Carlos Boozer's son. Him too. 6'9", coming out of Duke. Same same in the Carolinas. They're saying his projection is probably like the most safest, probably closest to NBA ready player right now coming out of this draft. Obviously, AJ Dibas,
Devancia, AJ Devancia is
Vanessa,
projected
and
to be
so
number 1, but they're saying
yeah,
Boozer might. They're saying Boozer won't even make it to top 4. They're saying he's going to
that's
go number
crazy.
3.
I mean, if he's there, I mean, it's a chance willing to take a look. You're absolutely right. I think the one thing that we should all kind of, I guess, sit here, or I mean, just sit here and just say like, you know what, we need the best possible player for the Chicago Bulls right now, bro. Whether if it is Cam Boozer, whether if it is Caleb Wilson, maybe Darian Peterson too might fall, but a lot of questions about him and his character and the way how he was playing with Kansas and how late he was and sitting benches and creatine, fatigue, all that good stuff. Like the story that's coming out of Kansas, that's another thing too as well, right? And there's going to be a lot of hearsay, like he said, she said thing coming out because they're saying that the Wizards might trade out of the first round pick, out of the first overall pick. I mean, there's a lot, man. But right now for the Chicago Bulls, man, I think get the for sure one. And if I were the Bulls and Boozer's still there at 4, I think he's probably like the safest pick. But I understand, like, if you're going based off the ceiling, he's probably those what is it, the highest floor, shortest ceiling type thing. So he's already kind of ready made, and everybody else, their ceiling is higher. I like Caleb Wilson. They're saying he's kind of like Kevin Garnett, 6'10". I think he's 6'10", probably like almost the same as Boozer, 250, 240, something like that. Kind of a bigger kid. But man, look, I for the first time, this is no Patrick Williams at number 4, right? This is no, they can't screw this up, right? There's depth in this class, and from we're seeing, from what we're reading, from what we're understanding, Jose, is that maybe there may not be a wrong pick for anybody in the top 4, top 5 pick this year in this year's draft class.
Well, it's a stacked draft class for sure. And look, you can mess up the 4th overall pick. The Bulls did with Patrick Williams, years ago. So you could mess up there, right? But it should be a lot harder this year because the best players coming out are there's like 4 or 5 of them. So like you're right there prime for either one. That doesn't mean they're all guaranteed going to be superstars, right? It all depends on what the Bulls need. But what they need is someone who's going to be a game changer. Like I said, there's no bad choices. Get one of the top 4, top 5 guys, and you should be in a good spot. And then from there, it's up to whoever you have as your head coach and their coaching staff to develop them. So it's a really, really good position for the Bulls, a luck that they needed. And everyone's already praising Bryson. Is it Bryson Graham? Bryson Graham. Everybody's already praising him, but he did nothing but come in here. Like, believe it or not, this is all thanks to AK and them tanking and doing what they did to get here. So there are some good things that AK's done. There's a lot of bad which got him fired, but at least some of the good is starting to show. With them being in this position to pick number 4, not to mention, you still have Josh Giddey on a really favorable contract that you could probably trade out of. You could probably trade him to another team and maybe him in the number 15 pick, and you can move even further, closer to, back in the top 10. Who knows, right? You can do a lot of things, with your picks and with some players on your roster. So, yeah, man, the Bulls are at a good spot.
Yeah. And maybe probably for the first time, we should have some type of confidence hopefully in this new regime. We got to get a GM and also a head coach before to make those decisions too as well, Jose. So it's going to be one of those just wait and see type things. Because look, man, right now the Chicago Bulls suck the basketball soul out of everybody, and I probably for the first time this draft class, the Bulls had a favorable fall in picking number 4. Oh, and we would have wished it was a little higher, but right now beggars can't be choosers in this deep draft. So, I mean, look, it's just to wait and see. I absolutely love what you just said about trading Giddey and the 15th, probably to move up even further, or into the 6th, 7th spot. Or probably even use Giddey and probably trade him in a 2nd round pick to go in later into the 1st round, right? Whatever the case may be, right now the Chicago Bulls, what they need is an abundance of talent. Or hopefully get talented players into the system to make this rebuild a lot quicker, right? Obviously, you start off a rookie, so it's not going to be a good first year, probably not even going to be a good second year. But at least we know down the road, like, hey, these players can play and they can compete. And obviously what they have in the 1st round or what they do in free agency can also, help. But in the NBA, it's easy, man. If you get a good player, if you get a great player in the draft, this rebuild comes instead of 4 or 5 years could come 2 to 3 years. And that's what we need. And that's what we want, for the Chicago Bulls. Something like that where we can believe in the players are in the system right now.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yeah. Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and YouTube, guys. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. Like us on our Facebook page. Subscribe, share, and share on your Facebook page too for all your friends and family. Join us, and then also on our YouTube page too as well. Help us to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the summer. That's our goal for this podcast, for the show. We will be obviously sending out videos, clips, and all that on all our social media platforms. So follow us on that too as well. Man, Jose, I know that the season is about to start for the NBA because the draft is right around the corner, Jose. But you know what? What's very dominant right now in all the sports, and even though it's already been a couple months since the season's ended, is the fact that the NFL, the schedule release is tomorrow, man. The NFL is king, bro. When you keep talking about them every single week, like the season just ended like a week or two ago, bro, you know how powerful you are in the sports industry, man. And Jose, to be completely 100% honest with you, man, how the Bears finished last year, my guy, I don't know if the Bears will have a lot of 12 o'clock games this upcoming season, man. So my question to you and everybody in today's show: how many primetime games will the Bears have this year? Think about it. The Chicago Bears, they're finally good, or we feel like they're finally good, with a quarterback and a head coach that's very entertaining or very captivating. We're not going to have a lot of 12 o'clock games here in Chicago, bro.
No, no, you said it. They're very captivating last year, right? This year's schedule will go based off last year's play, and the Bears were in a lot of entertaining games, especially when it mattered against rivals. I mean, if you look at a lot of their games, not just last year, but the last 2 years, a lot of them went down to the wire. They could have won, they could have lost. It was very, very entertaining. I mean, they were called the Cardiac Bears for a reason.
You ain't lying.
I mean, 100%, Eric. They're going to have a lot of primetime games. Obviously, we know they're going to. Obviously, we saw one of the leaks today. They're going to play on Thanksgiving against Detroit. So that right there is already prime time, and then they're going to have an international game. So yeah, for sure they're going to be on prime time. They're going to play a lot more. Expect them on a couple Sunday nighters, Monday nighters, Thursday nighters, you name it. And then there's even rumors about them opening up against the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, we're going to find out for sure tomorrow when the schedule releases.
Yeah.
But that's been one of the rumors that the Bears. That alone right there is huge. The fact that the NFL is considering you to open up, against the defending Super Bowl champions in Seattle, that would be crazy. But like I said, today, there was a leak about the Bears and Lions on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit. That's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun for us here in Chicago watching it when we're with our families eating turkey. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I expect a lot of primetime games for the Bears this year.
Man, I don't even think it's eating turkey because that 11 o'clock game it's gonna be at 11:30 on Thanksgiving when the Lions though, bro. I was hoping we get the Sunday nighter, or at least the 3:25 something. But that one's gonna be at 11:30. We're gonna be waking up from our mom to watch the Chicago Bears on Thanksgiving morning, dude.
Even better, breakfast. I mean, Thanksgiving breakfast. I'll take it.
But no, actually, the Bears are actually not going to. They're not doing the internet one, bro. It's already games, and obviously it starts week 1. Rams versus the 49ers in Melbourne. It's Australia, so I'm pretty sure that's like a Wednesday night game because that'll be Thursday over there.
Yeah,
and then like you said, like you mentioned, they're talking about the Bears opening up the season in Seattle for their ring opening. So
no, but they're going to have an international game
the
throughout
next
the season.
One is week 3.
I think they're one.
No, they don't. The list is already out for all the games for the international ones.
Oh shit!
No,
I guess I'm wrong.
So week 1, it's the Rams and 49ers in Melbourne, Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, week 3 is the second international game, and it's in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and it's the Ravens versus the Cowboys, which is a pretty good one. It's an interesting one after that. Then it becomes then it goes out to Europe, the international series, and literally from week 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. So almost every week from week 4 on out, there's an international game. There's going to be a football game at 8:30 in the morning, Jose, from week 3 to week 10. And the first one is the Colts versus the Commanders out in London. I think that one's in Wembley. And then week 5, it's Eagles versus Jaguars at that fucking toilet hole stadium in London too as well, up north.
Tottenham.
The Jaguars, now look, we'll talk about the international games. I don't know how fair this is, but the Jaguars being back-to-back in London, back-to-back games in London while the other team travels, but that's another story for another show. It's a divisional game between the Texans and the Jaguars, the second London game. The week after, we're gonna have our first game in Paris, Jose. The Steelers versus the Saints. Week 7 in the NFL in Paris, and then we go to the in Santiago Bernabeu in Madrid. The Bengals versus the Falcons, week 9. The first game in Germany, no, our third game in Germany. The week 10, the Patriots versus the Lions in Munich, out in the Allianz. And then the last international game will actually be in the Estadio Azteca or the Estadio Bantacor, however you want to call it, the Vikings versus the 49ers. That is the whole international games for this year. Mind you, Jose, this is a record. These are 9 games that the NFL is going out of Europe or out in Mexico or in Australia, South America. But be completely honest with me, Jose. Let's have this conversation because I'm reading this, and as I was reading, I'm like, man, these are a lot of fucking games. But do you even like the international series? Like, is it something that you kind of look into and look forward to watching, even if it's not the Bears playing?
Not really because I like my sleep and I try not to wake up so early. So when I do, when I have to, it's just one of those things you have to remind yourself, damn, there's going to be an early game tomorrow. So I got to set up my lineups tonight. I got to put in my
Yeah.
bets tonight. I got to, you know what I mean? And then you got to wake up and then, you know what I mean? Like when I'm up, the last thing I want to do is go on my phone or turn the TV on just to watch a game. You know what I mean? But the NFL kind of forces you in a way to do that, especially when you have bets on a game, especially when you have a rooted interest because of a fantasy football player or whatnot. So me personally, no, but I understand the reason behind it. You want to grow the game, different time zones. I get it. I get it 100%. So it's not terrible. It's not horrible. I'm sure I'll get used to it. But if selfishly, if I had to put it back in our time zone, I would.
I mean, it's cool, right? I guess I get the aspect and I understanding what the NFL is coming from and stuff like that. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I'm starting to be on the fence of really not liking the NFL games being played. And I get what the NFL is trying to do, trying to create a fan base outside of the United States of America. I get it that they want to make this game global. Soccer does a wonderful job in doing that. Obviously, it's played around the world, and it's a process. And so far, the NFL has been doing great. But what they're doing now, in my personal opinion, it's just they're probably saturating the European games or the overseas games, however you want to call them. The international games, I think they're just oversaturating. It was cool with like 1 or 2 games here and there, maybe 3 or 4. You hit different parts of the world. 1 year in London, 1 year in Germany, Mexico, however you want to. You can do 2 games, 4 games, however the case it is. But as I was reading that part, man, I mean, the advantage is on the one team for the Jaguars of playing back-to-back games, back-to-back weeks in London with 2 different opponents. I mean, to me, I think that just sucks and a disadvantage for the teams. The Jaguars get the advantage of playing the games over there. I mean, are their season ticket prices any cheaper? Probably not. But again, back to what I was saying, like I think they're falling into that trap of like, yes, more is better, but also at the same time, it's like you guys are doing too much, and I don't think we're gonna like this anymore within the next couple years, especially if they're adding more and more games. And like, don't get me wrong, NFL is cool, but a person like me, and this is just me personally, right? I know a lot of people out here in our who watch us and follow us and stuff like that. They probably like watching all the other NFL games, bro. Me personally, I just like to watch the Bears, and then that's pretty much it. Everything else is background noise, and I think it's maybe I'm different simply because at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'd rather watch a football match in Europe than the NFL because I'm really more intrigued more from football than soccer than I am football. But like, if you give me a game till like at 8:30 in the morning, and Arsenal plays at 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday, and there's an NFL game on, duh, I'm watching an Arsenal game at 8:30 in the morning. But if there's like a Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich game playing at 8:30 in the morning over Jaguars versus Texans, rather watch the Real Madrid or Barcelona game that early in the morning than the Jaguars versus the Texans because I'm not that big of a football fan like everybody else. I'm just a Bears fan. And I only care about what the Chicago Bears do.
No, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Regardless, man, it's gonna be it'll be good for the game. Good to grow it. Like I said, it. I guess it's not the worst thing waking up, boom, football's already on. You know what I mean? You don't have to wait till 12. Me personally, just not my preference.
I also got right here, Jose, that the Packers and the Rams are going to play the first NFL Thanksgiving Eve game that's going to be played on that Wednesday at 7 o'clock on Netflix. Packers versus the Rams on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then you got the Bears and the Lions at the 11:30 game. I'm also seeing that it is going to be the Cowboys versus the Eagles for the 3:30 game on
Hmm.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
So we also got the two.
two really good games, two rivalry games for Thanksgiving: Bears, Lions, Eagles, Cowboys. I can only wait. I can't
Divisional
wait to
game.
see. Yeah, I can't wait to see what the night game is going to be. So it should be a really good one. I'm pretty sure it's going to be AFC. You already have four NFC teams there, so it has to be a good AFC team. If you I don't know if you noticed, they're always putting the AFC North teams typically. Sometimes I know last year I think it was Chiefs against the Cowboys, but you normally do see the Ravens there a lot. So who knows? Maybe Ravens, Bengals,
That'd
Steelers,
be a good one.
Browns. Steelers.
And then also based off on how healthy these teams are coming in, right? On how healthy these teams are going into these games, and how healthy we're gonna get said teams, right? Because you could think about storylines and matchups from today, right? Literally May 13th, and just be like, you know what? Aaron Rodgers versus the Green Bay Packers on Christmas Day, simply because hell, why not? Right? It's a story. Aaron Rodgers going back to Green Bay. I'm just hypothetical. I don't know if they have him on their schedule or not, but again, it's a story. But you don't know if they're going to be, if Aaron Rodgers is going to be healthy by that time of the year. You know what I mean? Like multiple storylines heading to the games, and it's just kind of one of those like, cool. It sounds exciting, but nah. All right. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs are a perfect example. Is Patrick Mahomes going to be back in time for these type of games? Right? Are we just going to see the Kansas City Chiefs play um, at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or whatever their time zone is every Sunday up until Patrick Mahomes comes back, and all of a sudden the Chiefs are playing Sunday night football, Monday night football, Thursday night football, prime time and ESPN. You know what I mean? Like just because of that, like just, we're waiting and see if these players are even healthy at that point, bro. And it's a crapshoot with the NFL, but fuck, we're just because of gambling, because of fantasy football. I mean, we're just intrigued at the end of the day, and
100%.
it's just I hate it and I love it all at the same time. But but to go back to the original question, Jose, how many primetime games will the Bears have this year? I have over and under at 2.5.
Oh, over.
Yeah,
I say at least four
really?
minimum. Yeah, you'll see them on each of the time slots. You'll see them on a Thursday. You'll see them on a Sunday. You'll see them on a Monday, on Sunday night, Monday. That's already three, and then I could see another Sunday night game with it. With you know what I'm saying? Like one of them's gonna have to be the Packers. One of those games will have to be the Packers. Another one will be against I don't know, maybe the Bills. But yeah, 100%. I could see at least four games, primetime games for the Bears. I mean, you got to think about Eric. Like those games were crazy against the Packers last year. The
Yeah,
games
facts.
that Friday the Black Friday game against the Eagles was a good game. You had a lot of good games for the Bears. People are going to be excited to see what they were able to do, especially after what they did in the playoffs against the Packers and the Rams. Albeit they lost in overtime, but the Rams, who were a really good team, they took the overtime. And if it wasn't for that Hail Mary touchdown throw to Cole Kmet, they wouldn't have gotten there. But that's what I'm saying. It plays like that. It's moments like that the NFL is looking like, okay, the Bears have something here. They're going to be a ratings juggernaut. Put them on prime time, and let's see, and hopefully, they're able to do it again.
All right, Jose, I got a few things here going on, man. Just it's a few things that I'm reading right now about the NFL schedule, Jose, and they're saying that the first Sunday night football game opener is going to be the Giants versus the Cowboys in Sunday night football week 1 at MetLife.
Like it,
The
like it.
Monday night football game, the opener is the Kansas City Chiefs against the Denver Broncos. That's the Monday night football
Yeah,
opener.
I heard about that one. Hopefully Patrick Mahomes is back, and And let's not forget Bo Nix was also. You have two teams where two quarterbacks were injured last year. If maybe both of them can come back, that'd be great. At least Bo Nix. I don't know about Patrick Mahomes, but at least Bo Nix should be able to be ready for that Week 1 matchup.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy, man. Little by little. I mean, it's coming. It's gonna be fun. And the next week's episode, guys, I hope you guys join us for next week's show. We're gonna have the meatheaders of all meathead conversations about the win-loss records for our football team for the Chicago Bears. So that's gonna be on next week's show. We're gonna see if we're gonna give more than 8 wins, more than 9 wins. Hell, we might even go undefeated. I don't know. Somebody is bound to do that. I know that for a fact. That
And they have the toughest schedule. They have the toughest
do have
schedule.
a tough schedule.
Crazy.
It is crazy, but you know what, man? It's going to be exciting simply because of like all the matchups. Like, hell, we're talking about maybe they might open up the season with the Seattle Seahawks out west. Mind you, I think I heard on the radio station that that's going to be the only trip that they go west of the Mississippi River. Everything else is here in the Midwest or out east or south. And I thought about it. I'm like, man, imagine getting that game out early, just right away, being the first one. You don't really have to worry about anything else. Like, you just don't have to go west after that. Everything's just east of the Mississippi River, and I think that's a convenience for the Chicago Bears. Mind you, it depends on the schedules and everything else on top of that. I mean, you're absolutely right. I wouldn't be surprised if both games for the Packers are going to be like at 3:25 on a Sunday or Sunday Night Football or probably even Monday Night Football. Like, I would not be surprised that both Packers games are not going to be at 12 o'clock for both games. Like you said, we already got the Thanksgiving game for the Detroit Lions in Detroit. So that's another one right there. They also have, I'm trying to get the schedule for the Chicago Bears right now in front of me and their opponents.
Well, they have the NFC South.
I know we have the NFC South.
Yeah, they have the NFC South and they have the AFC East. So they're playing all the AFC East teams, all the NFC South teams, and they got, of course, the North twice.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna play teams like the Jets, the Patriots, the Bills, the Dolphins. We're gonna play teams like the Falcons, the Bucks, the Saints, the Panthers. So yeah, we're gonna have teams like that. So we have the NFC South, the AFC East, and the NFC North, obviously twice. So it's gonna be it's tough. We have a tough matchup, and teams only got better. The Buccaneers, I feel like, are only going to be better, even with the loss of Mike Evans, right? You don't count that team out. The Falcons, you know what I mean? They had something brewing, right? Who knows? The Panthers made the playoffs. We got to face them. They're going to be a tough team. And then
guess what?
What?
It's funny that you mentioned the Panthers because the Chicago Bears open up the NFL season at Carolina, Week 1.
How do you know that?
The Chicago Bears and the Carolina Panthers, Week 1. That's the opening game for the Chicago Bears this year.
Did that just release?
I literally see it right now in front of my face. I'm at the bearswire.com, bearswire.usatoday.com, and I see that the schedule release, and it says right now there's only 2 games on that list, Jose. It is the Chicago Bears at Carolina Panthers Week 1, the Chicago Bears at Detroit Lions Thursday, November 26th, Thanksgiving Day. Yep.
Well, that's different.
Those are the 2. It's very different. It's very different. And I feel like we'll probably get more of the Bears schedule release coming out.
It's true because real quick, SportsIllustrated.com just they wrote an article about an hour ago saying the NFL passed on the Bears Seahawks for 2026 opener, and fans might regret it. So they say the NFL might regret passing up on the Bears. But yeah, I think you're right. It's like, they're not going to be. I guess they're not going to be a matchup against the Seahawks. So it might be the Patriots that go against the Seahawks in a Super Bowl rematch. But yeah, the Bears-Panthers game is the number 1 game, the first game of the season.
In a way, that's also a storyline in itself because last year, I think that trade between the Panthers and the Bears finalized, right? Where we traded away our first-round pick and we got DJ Moore in that trade. When we also got Caleb Williams, we also got Tyreek Stevenson. I think we also got Kylo Gordon, I believe, in that trade. So like that trade finally finalized in itself. Darnell Wright was also in that trade too as well. I forgot. Um, so yeah, that could, for them to get Bryce Young, that's also the story in itself too. What That's a good story and a good opener. You know, the two teams that traded that kind of changed the trajectory of both franchises, where the Panthers feel maybe, just maybe, they feel like they got their quarterback in Bryce Young, and the Chicago Bears just hitting it on all cylinders with Caleb Williams, and how the Bears just moved quickly into the NFL echelon of the quarterbacks with Caleb Williams and what the season that they had last year. So it finally finalized, and we had that storyline. We finally had the two teams that made that trade, and here we are today as the opener for next year's season. So
And
that's crazy,
that's
man.
good. It's good for the Bears because the last thing you want to do, look, you face whoever's on your schedule, right? You're not scared of anybody. But if there's one
100%,
team
you
you
have to,
don't,
need to.
but if there's one team you don't want to face, it's the Super Bowl defending champions on their banner night in the home opener for them, their season opener for the NFL. That's whoever faces the Seattle Seahawks. It doesn't matter if it's the Bears. Whatever team goes against them is going to be a tough out. They're going to be on cloud nine to the max. So good for the Bears. Not saying that the Panthers are a guaranteed win, but they're a much easier matchup week one in this season. So yeah, man, I agree.
It's funny that you said that. You sparked an interest of mine. I just want to see what the record is for the defending Super Bowl champions on Banner Night. Hold
Usually,
on.
I think it's more positive than it is negative. I
Week
think it's way
one.
more
All right.
positive than it is negative. But yeah, the Bears, for those who are just joining, the Bears are a week one matchup will be against the Carolina Panthers. It has leaked, so they are not opening up against the Seattle Seahawks at home. Which leads me to believe it might be the New England Patriots, and you might get a Super Bowl rematch between the Seahawks and the Patriots week one to open the season. That'd be pretty crazy. Um, but yeah, it will not be the Bears. The Bears will open up against Carolina. And I think that's at Carolina too, isn't it?
It's at Carolina, yes.
Yeah. So we're on the
All right,
road.
Jose. So right
We're
now
on the road. We're on the
I
road
got the
week one.
last I have
The
the
stat.
schedule. I got the last five Super Bowl champions, right? And so far,
Yeah.
the last five Super Bowl champions, the record has been 3-2. The Eagles won it last year. The Chiefs, they lost to the Lions the year before. The Rams lost to the Bills the year before that in 22 and 21. The Buccaneers beat the Cowboys, and then the Chiefs beat the Texans. But outside of all the games have been close, outside of the Chiefs and the Bills and the Rams. The Bills blew out the Rams 31-10, and then the Chiefs. I'm sorry, yeah, and the Chiefs beat the Texans 34-20. Other than that, the other two games, the other three games have been decided by less than 3 points, or 3 points or less, should I say? So I don't know, man. It's weird, but I mean it's possible.
Yeah. I hear you.
But but man, yeah, exciting. So yeah, the Bears open up the season against the Carolina Panthers week one in the 26-27 season. Interesting storyline, like I just mentioned, that the Bears finalized that trade with the Carolina Panthers last season. The trade that got Bryce Young to the Carolina Panthers, but we also got Darnell Wright, Caleb Williams. We got Tyreek Stevenson, Kyle Gordon in those trades too as well. Or not Kyle Gordon. I don't know why I keep saying Kyle Gordon. But just to name a few players that were involved in that trade. We it was finally finalized, and that's the week one matchup of the Chicago Bears this season. So, man, it's exciting, man. We finally got there. We got there, and it's fun. We're gonna have a good time, and it's gonna be an exciting season. Next Wednesday, we're gonna talk about win losses records for the Chicago Bears. The first of two for here for Windy City Rundown. If you want to join us, it will be a fun time, and then we'll give us our final prediction the week before the season starts. Jose, let's get into our top five picks. This week it is the AFC, NFC, and the NFC North wide receiving core for the respective divisions and also conference too as well. Let's start off real quick, Jose, with the NFC North. I'm trying to get. I know I wrote it down somewhere. Oh, you know what? I'll just keep it right here. until I find it. But the NFC North wide receiving core, top four, obviously, because it's only four teams in the NFC North, Jose. So let's start off with you. Who is number four on the
I
list?
feel like you and I feel like you and I are gonna have the same list because it's pretty obvious. But number four is the Green Bay Packers. You can't tell me any of their wide receivers are number one wide receivers anywhere else. I mean, you have Romeo Dobbs, who, when healthy, could be really, really good. Christian Watson, another good wide receiver. You also have their rookie last year, Matthew Golden. So you have some decent wide receivers, but if you put them on any other team in the NFC North, they're number two, number three wide receivers at best. So for me, they're number four. They're on the bottom of the list. And it's not me being a Packers hater. That's just me speaking facts. You put any one of those wide receivers I mentioned, Dobbs, Watson, Golden, on the Bears, on the Lions, or on the Vikings, they're number two, number three at best
Interesting.
in their course. So to me, that it's easy. They're number four.
Awesome. For me, number four, I got the Chicago Bears. I think the loss of DJ Moore really impact uh in everybody's position. We don't know if Roma Dunze is the number one. We believe he's the number one. Luther Burden can probably slide in as number two. Can he do? Can he do it though? I think the loss of DJ Moore kind of puts everybody in a position to where now they will have to hope and see that they can exceed those expectations or be at those expectations that we have for the players. And that's something that willing to see as a wide receiving core. I don't think Roma Dunze and Luther Burden have done enough. Obviously, not Luther because last year was his first year, but Roma Dunze, if he can, fix his catching abilities, I drop less balls, probably then we'll have this conversation differently next year. But right now, the way how it stands, man, I see the Bears is probably like the worst wide receiving core in the NFC North. Who do you have at number three?
It's crazy you say that because I think last year we were saying they were number one, but with DJ Moore. But to me, three is the Bears. I think we're right there for. I think we're gonna be interchangeable there. But the Bears to me is number three, and the reason why I say that is because I feel like Luther Burden is going to take that step. I think Roma Dunze is going to get more looks, but I think
Uh-huh.
as when this season is over with, Luther Burden is going to emerge to be the number one wide receiver on our team. I think DJ Moore, with him leaving, does open up a lot more opportunity for both Burden and Roma Dunze. And maybe it is me being a homer a little bit, but I do think these two guys are a lot more talented than any of the guys on Green Bay. So that, and then with the addition of Xavier Thomas, who, let's not forget, is a really, really fast rookie who has good catching abilities, also good as a punt returner. I think with the three of them, there's a reason why Ben Johnson went and grabbed the wide receiver, even when we were all mad about where he got him. But there's a reason for it. I think Xavier Thomas is
100%.
definitely going to be somebody who is going to prove and show, you know, why he was there. Ben Johnson, I trusted him,
Yeah,
and I know he knows ball, especially offensively. So for me,
100%.
it's the Bears. It's the Bears wide receiving core number three.
Uh, you know what? Everything that you said, I really hope does come to fruition for sure, 100%. I mean, I really do want these players to exceed their expectations and take the next step into the game. It only make Caleb better. It only make the Chicago Bears better outside of their careers and personal goals of what they want to complete in the wide receiving core. So I really do hope that happens. To which is why I put the Packers at number three as the wide receiving core here in the NFC North. Everything that you said is correct. You put Matthew Golden and who's the other guy? I can't even think of his name.
Dobbs and Christian
Dobbs,
Watson.
Romeo Dobbs, and like you put them in any other team, they're at best number two wide receivers. At other teams, two or three. Right now, they watch out as number one, number two, number three in the Green Bay Packers. Given what we talked about Jordan Love last week, uh,
Oh, I
still
forgot about Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed's
and
also a
Jaden
really good
Reed.
wide
Yeah, that's
receiver.
the other guy I couldn't think of. It's players that I think you and I know simply because they play the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if outside of us in our division, anybody else knows about Golden and Reed and Dobbs outside of that. So, which is why, and plus the confidence level that we all have on Jordan Love, I don't know if anybody else feels the same way. Um, we like to give Matt LaFleur a lot of credit for his ability of play calling and stuff like that. But also the last time that we saw the Green Bay Packers, Jose, they kind of ran rampant at us on the wide receiving core on the outsides with Reed and Golden in the playoff game.
Yeah,
Literally,
but but was that them or was that our defense?
both could be true at the same time.
They're
Like
they're
it,
Don't get me
You
wrong;
know,
they're decent wide receivers, but if they were good enough, they would have beat us in the playoffs. There was a
no,
lot of mistakes
100%.
they
And I
made.
hear you. I do hear you. But me personally, I can confidently, and I hate saying this, but I can confidently say that I know what I can get out of Golden and Reed. And I don't know what I could get out of Roma Dunzi just yet if he can actually fix those mistakes of him catching the balls, right?
It's
And
it's fair.
that's
It's a fair point.
that's that's the one thing, and that's the only issue, right? That's why I don't put the Packers. Not be me being a hater. I'm trying to do this as unbiased as possible. Like literally, I am really, and it's really hard to give Packers the credit. But if there is credit to be due, I really do feel like wide receiving core, they're a little bit better than us because our wide receivers still have to prove if they are legitimate 1 and 2 and can actually carry this football team. I know I can say I can see it in Golden, I can see it in Reed that they can carry somewhat the Green Bay Packers on the wide receiving core. So me, I got the Chicago. I got the Green Bay Packers at number 3. And number 2, who do you got?
Number two, to me, is Detroit, and I
Uh,
know, I know offensively, these two wide receivers or this receiving core has done more recently
yeah.
than obviously the Minnesota Vikings. But if we're going talent for talent, if you're telling me to draft a team, I think I'm choosing, the tandem of Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison over Amon Ra and Jameson Williams, only because Justin
Interesting.
Jefferson, I feel like is the best, one of the best wide receivers in the
And that,
game. So for me, number two has to be Amon Ra and Jameson Williams. Um, there. And then obviously, as you know, number one is going to be Minnesota Vikings with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Because when that duo is healthy, and they have a good quarterback throwing to them, as we've seen years in the past before this year, they're monsters and they're hard to guard. So yeah, it's Detroit number two and then Minnesota number one.
Jose, that's why I have the Minnesota Vikings at number 2 for exactly what you just said. Which quarterback is throwing to
Yeah,
them?
but come on. If that was the case, Eric, if that was the case, then the Packers. You know what I mean? We're not going based off quarterback.
I hear you.
We're going
I
based
hear
off
you.
talent.
I hear you 100%. But I know for a fact that given the opportunity on talent wise, yes, the Minnesota Vikings are better. But in order for them to be great, they need to get the ball thrown to them, right? And they need to show out once they get the ball thrown to them too as well. And who's throwing the ball at Minnesota? Do we know? Is it McCarthy? Is it Tua? You even trust McCarthy or Tua to
It's
give him the ball,
actually
right?
actually Murray, Kyler Murray.
Murray. Thank you. I don't know why I said Tua. I apologize. Sorry for messing up. But yeah, Kyle Murray or JJ McCarthy, right?
Yeah,
That's why to me they're at number 2 because with a decent quarterback, any decent quarterback, they could easily jump to number 1 in any NFL team. You know, in any NFL team, they'll probably be the best number 1, number 2 wide receiver duo in the top 5 in the whole entire NFL with the decent quarterback. Talent wise, I get it. It's a whole separate conversation. But to me, whoever's throwing them the ball, King Kyler Murray, JJ McCarthy, give them that because what's the whole point of them being all this talented if they can't get the ball, right? So
I
which
hear
is for
you.
me,
I guess I thought about just talent itself. You know what I mean? Like if
right?
you
I
if
hear
you
you.
had if you had the best quarterback, which wide receiver duo, or which wide receiver core you have is the best. So that's the only reason why. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So which is why I have the Lions at number 1. Like you just said, Jameson Williams and Amon St. Brown. You know where you're going to get in and night, week in and week out with those two, right? With Jared Goff throwing him in the quarterback, Amon Ra is more secure than anything out here. And Jameson Williams can blow out the top out of anybody else. Those two tandem together with Jared Goff, getting him the opportunity of throwing the ball deep or short, and it cause a lot of chaos, a lot of damage. All right, to me, I have the Lions at number 1, the Vikings at 2, just because of the quarterback reasons, and then honestly, like with the adjustments of and we get it, we're kind of nitpicking here and there, and like who's 1, who's 2. You said we're gonna have some. We literally have it completely different, same ideas but completely different in our rankings, which I fucking love. By the way, we don't think the same. We're not
Yeah,
really thinking the same here. We're thinking the same,
yeah.
but
It
not really
it
the
it'd be
same.
boring. It'd be
It would
boring if we
definitely
if
be
we if we
boring,
agreed.
but we agree on most of the topics. But I think just our reasoning is a little bit different. So I love it. So Eric Avila, have in the NFC North their rankings: the Chicago Bears at 4, the Green Bay Packers at 3, the Minnesota Vikings at 2, the Detroit Lions at 1. Jose, you have them as,
I got them. Green Bay 4, Chicago 3, Detroit 2, and Minnesota 1.
and those are our wide receiving core for our NFC North rankings. We're going to do this every week. The following week is tight ends, defense. We're going to go on, so on and so forth, up until the NFL season comes around. So just please join us on all our social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Please like and share on your Facebook page, like and subscribe on our YouTube page. Help us to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the summer. Or how should I say it? Let me put it like this: get us to 500 subscribers before the NFL season starts. I think I like that. That one's a little bit better, right? We're trying to reach a goal here, 500 subscribers before the season starts. So please help us to get to that goal for us before the season starts. Now, the real itty bitty and the fun part, Jose, before we wrap up the show, now we're doing the entire NFL. We're going to do the NFC and the AFC, ranking the top 5 NFC wide receivers core, top 5 AFC wide receiving core. What do you want to start? AFC or NFC? Where do you want to go?
Let's do AFC. Yeah, let's do AFC first.
All right, AFC. Jose, start it off. Who's your number 5?
Number 5, I got Jacksonville Jaguars.
Nice.
Eric with Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, Jacoby Myers. I think the three of them, when healthy, are going to be great. We've already seen what the Jacksonville Jaguars are able to do. Really, really good team. Made the playoffs. I think they're going to take a step forward this year. And those 3 wide receivers are going to help do it for sure. Jacoby Myers, who was the number 1 at Raiders, now came to Jacksonville, had a really good year at the end of the year. Brian Thomas Jr., who's the number 1 wide receiver. You know what he can do. Travis Hunter, who was doing really, really good before he got hurt. So when he comes back healthy, he's only going to add. So for me, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars number 5.
Nice. I like that pick. And you know what? They were kind of my honorable mention. Plus, they were kind of tough for me to actually put them at number 5. I know I was going back and forth with them and the team that I actually chose at number 5. I think I chose number 5 simply because of the quarterback, and that's the LA Chargers with Lamb McConkey and Quentin Johnson. You know, I have them at number 5 just simply because of the quarterback. Those two can really benefit from Justin Herbert. Obviously, Lamb McConkey had a very good his rookie year 2 years ago. Last year kind of fell off a little bit. I think he was hurt. Or he was hurt for the majority of the year. Quentin Johnson could blow the top off of any team. It's just very inconsistency of catching the balls here and there, maybe route running Justin Herbert. But the offensive line didn't help with that as well either. You've known that Justin Herbert was kind of one of the most rushed quarterbacks throughout the whole entire NFL season. But given time, given the quarterback and the talent that they have, I have the Chargers at number 5 as my top wide receiving core. Jose, who's your number 4?
Number 4, I got the Houston Texans, man. Now
Nice.
I know you. Now, the thing about the Texans, right, is the quarterback situation, right?
Yes.
CJ Stroud not being inconsistent, but it doesn't matter. These guys are ballers. Nico Collins, we know what he can do. They have Tank Dell. They have they have Tank Dell. They have Nico Collins. Jaden Higgins was a baller last year. But when a lot of these guys got hurt last year, Eric, and when they got hurt, their backup wide receivers stepped up. Xavier Hutchinson, Jalen Noel. You talk about they got a lot of speedsters, a lot of guys who can catch the ball. That's why I feel like, hey, another year under that offense, another year with CJ Stroud with all that continuity, and if they stay healthy, I think that wide receiver with Dell and Collins, Noel, you name it, all these guys can really, really do something. So I think they were an honorable mention at number 4 for me.
Jose, you know what's crazy? You and I got the same number 4 because of that same exact reason, right? Given what you're giving about CJ Stroud and his quarterback play, Tank Dell coming back for the first time this year after missing for 2 years with that horrific knee injury 2 years ago in the playoffs. I think he really does give that extra oomph and that extra speed. Hopefully, we'll have the same Tank Dell that before he got hurt. But yes, you're absolutely right. When they went down, the backups came in, and everything that you said is literally the reason why I have him at number 4. And just because of CJ Stroud too, the quarterback does have a lot of play into this too as well. But that's probably one of the most deepest, talented wide receiving core in the NFL when healthy. You have to be healthy. Yeah, that's why I have him at number 4. At 3, who do you have?
Number 3, I have what you had at number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers. And because when you look at it's not just 2, it's not just McConkey and Johnston. Don't forget about Keenan Allen, who had a resurgence year last year. I know because I had him on my draft. I mean, on my fantasy football team, and that's the reason why McConkey and Quentin Johnson were inconsistent. Because if 1 week it was Keenan Allen who's having a day, the next week it was Quentin Johnson, the next week it was Lamb McConkey. You have 3 wide receivers who can ball, who are veterans, who can do their thing. The only thing about that team is, like you mentioned, the offensive line. But when they get that in order, and Justin Herbert's able to fling it. It's going to be crazy, and those 3 guys are only going to be even better. But they had some good years last year, so for me, I'm looking at the potential and what this team could be. And if you talk about a wide receiver core, you cannot ignore Lab McConkey, Keenan Allen, and Quentin Johnson. And if that's why they're my number three.
Nice. Yeah. Actually, at my number three, I have the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos are number three for me simply because of the addition who they got this past offseason in Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
And Jalen Waddle with Sutton, Cordell Sutton too on the other end is just even more better for Bo Nix. And we hope when he comes back healthy, if he comes back healthy, Bo Nix and that wide receiving offense, man, just imagine him in all cylinders. Jalen Waddle going over the top, Sutton coming into the middle as your security blanket. You have two great and valuable options on the outside at any given point. That makes Denver even a lot scary. Mind you, they were a Bo Nix injury away from making the Super Bowl last year, Jose. A Bo Nix injury away from making the Super Bowl last year. And that could have been a whole different making and a whole different Super Bowl last year. But you give a young quarterback like Bo Nix another top 15, top 10, top 15 wide receiver in the NFL into your team. Only good things can happen from there if he stays healthy, man. So for me, Denver Broncos are number three. Jose, who do you have at two?
Well, we don't got to talk. We don't got to say anything different because that's my number two, the Denver Broncos, for the exact same reason you said.
Love it.
I mean, you already have Cortland Sutton, who's a number one wide receiver, and you add another number one wide receiver. Let's not forget, 100%. Jalen Waddle was balling out in Miami with the absence of Tyreek Hill. Right, with the absence of Tyreek Hill and that quarterback situation in flux, Jalen Waddle was still doing his thing. How do I know? Because there was another guy I had on my fantasy team. Jalen Waddle, I won a championship for a reason. Nice. I had guys on my team, and Jalen Waddle was one of those guys. And let me tell you, Eric, yeah, I agree with you. Just adding him to what I think is a Super Bowl contending team in the Denver Broncos only benefits them, and that wide receiver duo is going to be crazy. It's going to make Cortland Sutton be a lot better because a lot of the a lot of looks, a lot of good defensive guys are going to be off him because they're going to have to count for Jalen Waddle. So yeah, number two is the Denver Broncos for me.
100%. That's great. Yeah, for me at number two, the Buffalo Bills. Jose, I think getting DJ Moore can actually put everybody in line on that team. Or you already talk about Coleman and Shakir being who's the number one on that team. Now you have what a legitimate for us is the number one wide receiver in DJ Moore, and everybody else follows the line after that. When you have Joshie Poo throwing you the ball all over the place, he is going to have a field day with the wide receiver. I mean, he already has a field day with everybody that he has. Now that he has a legitimate number one wide receiver at the outside, everybody else is just even more deadlier on just going down over. I think this is probably can challenge who's my number one team wide receiving core in the NFL. But if everybody hits on all cylinders, that Buffalo Bills team, man, scary. Especially with Joshie throwing the ball.
Believe it or not, I kept them off my list because we're talking about a wide receiver core, and I don't believe in Coleman. I don't believe in Shakir because when you look at what those guys were able to do, just them two, it's laughable. It was nothing. So yes, the addition to DJ Moore is only going to boost. I agree with you 100%. It's only going to boost that team. But the reason why I left them off this list is because I think DJ Moore is going to be the sole reason why, you know what I mean? Like their receiving core is going to be good. So at the end of the day, he's going to have their best defenders on him, which means the other guys are going to have to step up. And can they really when they haven't showed it the last couple of years? So who knows? With Josh, anything is possible, but hey, I cut them off my list.
No, the attention will be off of them as much because DJ Moore is going to probably get more of the looks or more of the of like the direction from the defensive end. So it only makes Shakir and Coleman just a tad bit more better because now the focal point is not really on them because of that same exact reason.
Well, because
CP in the comments, man, what's up, dude? Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you for joining us today.
The thing is, he relied a lot on his tight ends because his wide receiving core wasn't as good. So that's why I'm like, we'll see. We'll see how that goes, right? We'll see how that goes. But hey, 100% that wide receiving core got a lot better because DJ Moore for sure.
100%. I think we both got the same team at number one, right?
It's unanimous. The Cincinnati Bengals, my number one. I mean, when you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, there's no better wide receiver tandem in the AFC. I could argue they're one of the number ones in the entire league. So those guys with Joe Burrow's healthy is crazy. It's crazy. Even when they're not healthy, look what they were able to do with Joe Flacco. Those guys are insane.
Yeah,
so yeah, 100%. Number one for me. 100%
Guaranteed 30 plus points each and every game with those two
each.
out there. Guaranteed, 90, 80 yards
Yeah.
each game, a touchdown or two each game. Those guys are deadly no matter what. Yeah, probably the best wide receiving core, if not just in the AFC, probably even Jose in the whole entire NFL. You said everything. I don't think we have to expound more on that. Now, this one
Mm-mm.
is a little bit more tricky for the both of us. I think you and I probably had a lot more difficulty on getting these
Yeah.
up here,
Yeah.
Jose. But the top 5 NFL wide receiving for the NFC, the top 5 wide receiving core for the NFC. Jose, who do you got at number 5?
Well, it was crazy because like I feel like the top two for me were the easiest. It was the bottom three that was kind of hard. But I'm going to go with and the only reason why they're my number 5 is because we haven't seen them yet. This is going to be a potential, but it's the 49ers with
Nice.
Mike Evans and Ricky Pearsall. That I feel like that duo is going to be a good duo of Brock Purdy. I mean, we're not counting the tight ends, right? So it's just wide receivers
Wide
only.
receivers.
But with those addition and especially with the tight ends that they have there, and then those two guys, Mike Evans on anybody is going to make your team better. But the thing I like is the difference between DJ Moore going to the Bills and Mike Evans going to the Niners. The Niners had guys on that wide receiving core that could ball, that could do things, that can score, that can contribute. So I think that with the addition of him, Ricky Pearsall is only going to get better. George Kittle's only going to get better, and Mike Evans himself is going to establish to be the number 1 wide receiver on the San Francisco 49ers. So for me, they're my number 5 for sure.
I hear you. I hear you. I too have him on the list, but they'll show up a little later. You almost forgot about Brandon Ayuk, so
Yeah, no,
don't forget
I
about
mean, I hear you. I just, he has to be healthy, but you're right. You're right, 100%. Let's not forget about Ayuk. I mean, it's only going to
that.
make that team even better. So yeah, 100%.
At 5 for me, the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think I only kept them at number 5 simply because the wide receivers are still intact of AJ Brown and oh my god, I just had his name now. I just forgot. AJ Brown and
I'll tell you
why
right
did
now.
he? Oh my god.
Go ahead, just talk. I'll look it up right now for you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, but the only reason why I still have him at number 5 simply because we don't know what AJ Brown is going to do. We don't know if
Devontae
he's going to
Smith.
stay. Devontae Smith. Thank you very much. We don't know if
Mhm.
so. Yeah. So just because of AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, Philadelphia Eagles are my number 5. But I don't know if AJ Brown is going to be an Eagle before the season
Yeah,
starts. By
and
default,
that
in this roster, but we're doing this right now on May 13th. He is. Those are the number 1, number 2. He's still going to be there. Look, whatever we feel about Jalen Hurts is whatever we feel about Jalen Hurts. But talent for talent, why pound for pound, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith can be one of the top 5 wide receiving core in the whole entire NFL, right?
yeah,
And that's why to me I have a number 5 in the NFC because I don't know if AJ Brown is going to be there. I'm just
and
going
that
to go what I see in the past,
yeah.
simply what I've noted, what I by talent wise is why the Eagles are at number 5 or the wide receiving duo from the Philadelphia Eagles is at my number 5.
And they were a team I was also going to put in the list, but I was like, I don't know if AJ Brown's going to be in there. But let's not forget the rookie Mekhi Lemon that they drafted, who
Oh
was a
yeah,
first round pick, who's going to be amazing for them. So 100%, Mekhi Lemon. If AJ Brown stays there, Mekhi Lemon, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, the 3 of them, 100% for me are top 5. But with the uncertainty of AJ Brown, who knows what's going to happen there? That's the only reason why I kept them off. But yeah, that's definitely a really good core for sure.
100%. Number 4, Jose. Who do you got?
All right, number 4, I got what you guys heard earlier, the Detroit Lions. We cannot ignore Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and that offense with that quarterback, Jared Goff. They're 100% top 5 worthy. Number 4 for me because you know that their offense is always going to come to play. That team's always going to be good. Even though they had a down year last year, I mean, when you lose a Ben Johnson as a play caller, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but they're gonna pick it right back up. And I feel like those two guys alone, is top 5 worthy for sure.
For me, at number 4, I have the Seattle Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champions. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is probably is starting to become one of the top 10 wide receivers in the whole entire NFL.
Yeah,
Maybe another healthy year of Cooper Kupp being in there, and then Rashid Shaheed too, coming in last season also helped out open up the playbook for the wide receivers in Seattle. But I think JSN is a fucking dog. I believe if you have a dog in your wide receiving core, you should be up there, right? And it's funny because we're I know who I'm gonna leave out after I say that, but for obvious reasons. But JSN showed up. And when you have a reliable Cooper Cup, if he plays all 17 games on a healthy reason, as healthy as he can be, he's going to be a dog too as well. I know he was coming back after an injury the season before that. So, but you have those two and being the Super Bowl champions, and they know what to do. I got Seattle at number 4, but just barely, they made my list, Jose. But I mean, barely.
I hear you. And that was another team I was like, oh, I want to put them on there, but without JSN, you take him off the team. That wide receiving core is not even top
It's not
10.
even close. Yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
you know what I mean. So that's why I was like, oh, but you're right. But he makes them. But I don't blame you because he makes them a top 5 wide receiving core. Because I mean, like I said, Cooper Cup is no slouch, and JSN is him, bro. He is him. So it's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick at all, for sure.
Jose, who do you got at 3?
3 is Minnesota. Like I mentioned earlier, like I said, I get the quarterback situation is what's stopping everybody from really, from stopping that team from really, showing its potential. But if we're just talking wide receiver core and talent alone, you put those two guys, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, on any other team with a good quarterback, that team is unstoppable offensively. I mean, those guys, even last year with JJ McCarthy had really good numbers, were really, really good players. When Jordan Addison came off that suspension, man, I was happy because I had him on one of my teams. I was like, let's go. He was doing his thing. So for me, I can't count him out. I get it. Who's going to throw to him? Maybe Kyler Murray, shows up to be a better quarterback. Who knows? But if we're talking just talent alone, that's my number 3 because Justin Jefferson is one of the best in the game.
I have the 49ers at 3. Everything that you said about them at number 5 or number 4, number 5, right? You had them at 5.
Yeah, I had them at 5. Yep.
Everything that you said about them, adding Mike Evans to this roster, to this team, just gives Brad Purdy another weapon to throw to. You still have Brandon Ayuk, maybe if he's still on the team or not at the end of the year. Ricky Pearsall, if he stays healthy, another wide receiver that can actually do something and cause chaos on the outside or on the inside, depending where you want to put him. And you're not even adding George Kittle, but we're not adding George Kittle because this is all wide receivers. But yeah, no, definitely what you said earlier about the 49ers, if they can stay healthy, that's a team that has not 1, not 2, but 3 potential 1,000-yard receivers in that team alone. You're given the opportunity. So to me, that's why I have them at number 3, and it's just only based off of health. But if you give them the names are great. But if they're healthy, yeah, that's another question and another conversation for another day. Jose, who do you have at number 2?
I feel like the top 2 teams you and I are going to be aligned. It just depends on what ranking we give them. But for me, it's the Dallas Cowboys. You cannot forget about CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. It was hard for me not to put them number 1, but it's just that the other 2 guys, given what they were able to do last year, it's just been that much better. But CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens can be the best duo this year going into this year. They had an amazing year last year. The Dallas Cowboys offensively were crazy. So for me, it's those 2 guys. They're monsters. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. Cowboys are number 2 for me.
See, the one thing about the Dallas Cowboys is if they can repeat that again, because yes, even though they have those big name players like CeeDee Lamb, for a fact, CeeDee Lamb's a good pick, but George Pickens, we finally got a good year out of him. Can he do it again? I mean, he struggled.
100%.
If he struggled out in Pittsburgh, they traded him away. He's done really good. He stepped up when CD went out for those couple games, and he was a good guy. But I need to see that again. I don't have him on this list, Jose, because I have the Detroit Lions at number 2. Because I know what I could get out of both Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know what I could get out of Jameson Williams. Like I mentioned earlier, they're the number 1 team in the NFC North for me as a wide receiving core. I wholeheartedly believe that as my number 2. I think them with Jared Goff, they're probably one of the most secure players in the NFL. One going long, one coming short, and just anything after the ball, after the catch. I mean, anything after the catch. Those two guys are dangerous. To me, I have the Lions at number 2. Jose, who's your number 1?
Easy. Los Angeles Rams. How can you put anybody over Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams? Both those guys are number 1 on any other team, but to have both of them on one team is unfair. It's the reason why Matthew Stafford was an MVP. It's really unfair. So yeah, number 1, 100%. Easy pick for me. I mean, just look at the stats. There's no argument there.
There's no argument there. You're absolutely right. I think you and I spot on. The Rams number 1, given Matthew Stafford. I mean, look, close to making the Super Bowl last year. We saw them last year here in the playoffs in Chicago. They did the job. They got the job done. It was a struggle for them because the weather wasn't very nice, and I knew that was going to be a part of it. But given in a controlled climate or anywhere else. These guys are big game dogs. Yeah, until further notice, I mean, yeah, like I said, Puka Nakua, Devontae Adams given another year. Yeah, with Matthew Stafford hopefully playing on MVP level, and there's nobody going to stop him. Easily one of the top 5 wide receiving core in the whole entire NFL. But in the NFC, they are the number 1 receiving core. So, Jose, run it down again. Your top 5 in the
Top
NFC.
five. So top five for me, NFC, I have the 49ers at 5, the Detroit Lions at 4, the Minnesota Vikings at 3, the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys at 2, and the Los Angeles Rams at number 1.
And for me, Eric Avila, I have the Philadelphia Eagles at 5, the Seahawks at 4, the 49ers at 3, the Lions at 2, and it's the same. You and I chalk the Los Angeles Rams at number 1. Well, that was fun. And that was great. And that was the Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube, guys. As always, like and share our shows on your Facebook page. Like and subscribe on our YouTube page. Sorry. Uh, please help us to get to 500 subscribers before the NFL season starts. It's a small goal, but it's a goal that we want to accomplish before then. So please go on our YouTube page, subscribe, follow us on all our social media platforms, on TikTok, on Instagram, on X, all that. Put out the clips for you guys soon. So just follow us there. And next week we're just gonna have run down the Bears win-loss record. As simple as that. Probably go over a few games, what we like about it. How many prime times games are we gonna stay up late to most of the games that we're gonna have this year, Jose? I really do. I don't think that the Bears are gonna have a lot of 12 o'clock games on Sunday, man. I really don't. I think you are gonna have some long nights sleeping before going to work on Thursday and on Sunday and Monday. So yeah, we're gonna be screwed this upcoming season with the Chicago Bears. Hopefully not too much, but I just have a feeling that we are, bro.
No, 100%. Yeah, it's gonna be fun next week. We're gonna go down the list every game for game. We're gonna give our predictions, whether they'll win, they'll lose. We'll 100%, have their record. What we predict the record will be next year. So
and that's going to be literally the whole show next week. So literally. I mean, just 1 hour of giving you guys our win-loss prediction. Hell, we might even throw in a tie. So who knows? So that'll be next week, next Wednesday at 7 o'clock on Facebook and on YouTube. Just like I said, follow us and share, or follow us on our YouTube page. Like and subscribe there. Let us to get 500 subscribers on our YouTube page. Like and share our show on your Facebook page for your friends and family. For Jose Contreras, I am Eric Avila. We will see you guys next week, same time at 7 p.m. See you then. Jose, hit us with the outro.